Good morning. Welcome to Eat Healthy, Eat Raw. Today we're going to be making chocolate pecan brownies, totally raw. And these are the ingredients we're going to be using. Almond butter, 3 cups of medjool dates, and cacao powder. 1/3 cup of cacao powder. So, the medjool dates come in different sizes. There's small and large, and there's in between. So I've kind of approximated that you need 24 to make 3 cups for these brownies. So what we do with these is we take a knife and you pit them. Cut them in half. Take the pit out, and you cut them in pieces so they're easier to grind in and blend in the food processor. I keep the pits till the end so I know how many I counted. Okay, so we're going to be putting the brownies into a tart pan. It's 8 by 11. And I use it this way because they're easier to get in and out of the pan. All right, so let's put the dates in the blender. There we go. And then we put the almond butter in, about 1/3 cup. I use almond butter. You can use cashew nut butter. That would probably be good. It doesn't have a strong flavor. I don't use peanut butter because it overwhelms the flavor of the brownie and it tastes like peanut butter. So we use almond butter. If there's too much oil in your almond butter or nut butter when you open up the jar, pour out the oil because we don't want the brownies to be oily. Now we sift the cacao powder into the blender, into the mix. This is part 1 of 2 parts for making the brownies. First we make the batter and refrigerate it. And then we make the chocolate topping. Okay, now let's blend it. Pulse it first. Now this is too dry, so I'm going to add a little water. Let's say 2 tablespoons for this. Too sticky. We have to add a little more cacao. Tastes good. So let's add a tablespoon of cacao. Okay, that's good. Now, if you did exactly as I suggested you do in the recipe, your batter would not come out too sticky or too dry. It would come out just like this. It may even roll right into a ball, and you will have no sticky residue or anything. It will be easier to mold and spread, and it won't stick to everything. So let's put it into our tart pan, right? I lined it with the saran wrap so that when we put the chocolate liquid on top, it won't drain out the bottom. But it's also easier to get the brownies out once they're hardened. Take the blade out. Okay, this doesn't pour like a regular chocolate brownie recipe, like a cooked brownie recipe. This one you have to spread and mold. Kind of drop the batter in different places in the pan. This is going to be delicious, I'm going to tell you that. So, we're still getting more out. I don't like to leave any batter in the bowl because it's so precious, tasty. I can't keep the brownies in the house. Everybody loves them. All kinds of chocolate that we make here in this kitchen is liked by everyone. And I'm making, I can't tell you how many batches of brownies. And I also make pecan pralines, which are wonderful, and chocolate bark, all different kinds of chocolate bark. Oh boy. Okay, I got it. There you go. There you go. Done. Spread it across the pan. You just use back and forth motion to tell you the truth, all this working and massaging the batter blends it and gives it more flavor. So don't think you're wasting your time. There we go. We're moving along. Okay, I'll show you. See? We have to get it to the edges. Spread it out all the way to the edge of the pan. To tell you the truth, if there's a little gap on the side, it's okay because we fill in with the cacao topping, which hardens, so you'll get a nice big chunk of chocolate on the side if you leave any spaces. Okay, this looks wonderful. There you go. It does take a little effort to spread. It's not like just pouring a batter from a cake box into a pan. This you really have to work and massage and enjoy it. So now this part, phase one, is done. We're going to take this and put it in the refrigerator to harden. We're going to complete our brownies. We've had the batter in the refrigerator to chill it. So what we need is cacao butter, which I've already chopped. You sliver it off of this chunk of cacao. It's white, and you sliver it so that it melts quicker. You need a double boiler, or what I use is a small pot and a Pyrex with a pouring spout, a Pyrex cup. So we're going to pour the chocolate slivers, cacao butter into the Pyrex and let it melt at a very low temperature. I heated up the water ahead of time, so that will melt. We need about a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and I just pour that in there a little bit like that. And cacao powder with a strainer to sift it in there. But let's let it melt a little. We're going to chop some almonds. or pecans or walnuts, whatever you like, and put it on top of your brownie prior to pouring the chocolate liquid over it. So let's do that while we're waiting for the cacao butter to soften. Now these aren't going to stick onto your batter because your batter is hardened, but the chocolate topping will keep them in place. Now we're stirring the melted cacao butter, and we will add a couple of tablespoons of cacao powder. 1, 2, sift it in there. Sift, sift, sift. You may need a little more, we'll see. Stir it in. Use a couple of tablespoons of syrup, pure maple syrup, if you want a sweetener. That's it. Now, we pour this over the brownies to complete the brownie mixture, but you can pour this into a tray or a little container and make like a bark with nuts in it or coconut, and make a chocolate bark, which is very good. And then break it up as you want to use it. So we don't have to let this harden, or it's not hot at all. It's not. It's very warm. I don't have a thermometer, but it's not even hardly warm. It's tepid. Now we're going to pour it over the brownie batter. And make sure you get every little bit out. I use a spatula to get it all out. Okay? There you go. So before you pour it on, I think you have about a half a cup. So you need at least a half a cup of the cacao butter. I had about 3 ounces, or at least a half a cup. You can't go wrong doing more, let me tell you. And if it didn't cover all your nuts, move it around a little. But finished. Ta-da! Yum. Now you put it in the refrigerator to harden, and then you cut it up. So enjoy your brownies and share them with your family and friends.